Hey everyone, it's Mario Daniel Sconza. Good evening to you. I'm here with my partner and friend and brother in Christ, Mr. Robin Azarcon. Robin,
Hi,
welcome.
hi everybody. Hi Mario.
Hi. Robin is a new partner right here with Mario Daniel Sconza and Partners Real Estate Services. We now have 14, I believe we're up to 14 partners, not up to, that's bad language. We have 14 partners at this point in time. Is that right, Robin?
Yes, that's right.
And which I am one of them. And so I just want to talk to you a little bit about our partnership and um, how things roll around here and things of that nature. So, Robin, tell us about your journey into the partnership with Mario Daniel Sconza and Partners.
Yeah, absolutely. So the way it worked out is actually really interesting. I've met Mario back in I think a year or a year and a half ago in the airport going to a conference, and Mario and I were just able to speak. And actually, the first thing we talked about was actually not entirely about business, but about faith and faith in business. And so I met him that way, and was able to interact with him in some cases. And if I needed some help, he was able to approach him. And just recently, I did embark on a different path and strategy of how I want to grow myself. And I had choices, and Mario was my Mario's opportunity was brought forward, and I was glad and that I was able to be accepted in the partnership as well.
Right on. And as I say to you on many days, it's an honor to be on this journey with you because it is us on the journey with you. You allow us the honor and the privilege of partnership, and we uh, we respect that immensely, and we're very grateful for that. Now, thank you.
Yeah,
And you mentioned something very interesting is that you had some choices. And in fact, is it okay if I'm very transparent?
absolutely.
We were speaking yesterday, and in fact, you were offered what would have been, with incentives, possibly a six-figure salary. And rather than
Absolutely.
going down that road, you accepted a partnership with us, which is completely 100% a commission-based partnership in your role. And so that, speaking of faith, that took tremendous faith, first of all, always in God, and of course in yourself, and as well as the partnership and what you saw in the opportunity. Can you speak to that a little bit? What did you see? What is the reason you gave us the privilege of a partnership with you?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think the first and the first thing that I did see there is I know we've met before. Although we haven't interacted that much before, I see you. I see the posts that you put on Facebook. I see you on conferences when you're speaking, and I know that there's a level of trust there that have been developed even just by watching you from afar. So when I was given that opportunity, I said, you know what, there is the safe side of things, which is having some sort of salary and having a commission, and there is a really lot of step of faith in putting into the commission. But I just believe I believe in God, but I also believe in some of the talents that I've been given and the skills that, hey, you know what, let's try it out. And the first day or even the first week that I've covered, that was really tested because of the amount of the activity that was present and was put on put on me. But I'm super blessed because I know every day I just have to rely on God, and there's a different dynamics when you're out of your comfort zone. and I like it. For me, it's either I thrive or I sink. But by the grace of God, I'm still thriving and just keeping at it. And hopefully, you feel the same. But yeah,
Oh, very much so. Very much so. We're, in a lot of ways, very blessed to have you. And speak to that a little bit. So you're, doubt and action are compatible mates, and it's very, very normal when we take on new challenges and we strive to grow to new heights. There's doubt in the process, and the thing that takes us out of doubt is action. So doubt takes us out of action, and action takes us out of doubt. And so, speak to some of the challenges that you had coming in to the equation, and what you did to, and what you're doing, because we're overcoming challenges every day, some bigger than others. And but we know that they're placed in our path for a purpose and a higher purpose, and that's really to put the best that is available to us in front of us. So speak to, please, how you worked to overcome and are working to overcome some of these challenges with the doubt.
yes. Yes, and you know what? I think that you hit it. You're right in asking that it's a working, it's a progression, and working that out because I don't. It's not perfect in me, and I think with the practice and just taking action, it just takes me progress. But perfection, I don't know yet. But some of the challenges I would say is, not knowing what's going to happen tomorrow, not knowing, there's some doubts and uncertainty where it's like, okay, I'm a young guy, I do have some bills to pay, and so the next day, you're thinking, okay, where would my next paycheck be? But that's where the faith comes in, where giving starts the receiving. And I don't like to be lazy, and I think you're right. Like action, just taking massive action that produces massive results will get us to the goal that we want. And um, you know, even though I'm doubtful of tomorrow, I do have that sense of I have a purpose, and there's a reason why I'm here, and I'm gonna do my best. And so that just keeps me up. And knowing as well that there are many people that I could impact, both inside the partnership and also outside, which are our clients or other people that we work with. That also gets me up in the morning, and just knowing as well that I know where I am, where I need to be. And I think that someone told me, if you're gonna go to a commission base anyway, somewhere down the road, right? And so, whether you take it now or later, you're gonna take it. So I said, let me take it now. Let me get over it. Let's do it now. While I'm young and while I have the energy. And I would say it's working well. And I got my license too, so that's another different story. And
Yes, congratulations on that. So you are actually newly licensed, and in fact, you're just about to receive your, let's call it, ticket from the Real Estate Council of Ontario. You've submitted all the paperwork, and you're just about there. And the great thing about being involved in a partnership, Robin, is that you actually instantaneously have, let's say, 100 years of experience in right here inside our office, inside these four walls. So that experience is your experience. And you said something very astute, and I love what you said there. And that's the foundation of our company, is that giving starts the receiving process. Giving starts the receiving process. Speak to that a little bit, would you?
yes, absolutely. One of the main things that Mario told me right in the beginning when we spoke is that the partnership works in such a way where God is God first, family, and then business. And um, the main one of the main things that we do as partnerships as a company, I would say, is that we have tithes, and tithes is where we donate a portion of our earnings to charities, and at, we also help out those needy people who are in need of clean water or education or hospital. So a portion actually of what we make goes to a tithe, and I really believe in that, right? Because the Bible is clear about the tithes, and that if we give to the Lord, that we can test him and he will fill our barns or storehouses. So this is where the giving comes in, and you know and I quickly learned right when I walked in here that it's not just about money too. It's also about the time, the effort, the concern, the care that you give for other people. That if you are able to give that and not really expect anything in return, you know, you will get something because I think the universe, and even the universal law, just works out that way, and it never hurts to give. And sometimes when it hurts when you're giving, you know that you're actually giving. And I'm blessed to give, and I'm thankful that I'm in a place where I can exercise giving freely.
Right on. And I'm going to try to share my screen, see if that works for me here. Uh, oh, there's got to be a Chrome extension. Let's see. Let's see if that works right here. Add to Chrome. Okay. Oh, maybe not right now. So, um, so um, let's see here. Sorry about that. Oh, I think we are able to share the screen. Let's see if I'm able to do that here. Application window. So, do you see my screen right now, or what do you see there?
I don't see your screen yet. Let me
No.
check.
Let me see
Not
here.
yet.
Your entire screen. Share. No. Oh, there you go. I think you can see my screen now. Can you?
Let me double check. No, not yet.
Can't see my screen.
Not yet.
That's interesting. Or maybe it can be seen on Facebook actually.
Okay.
I think it is actually seen on Facebook. Sorry about that. So um, the greatest financial plan ever written actually is found in the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verses 8 to 12. In case anyone's interested, that right there is the greatest financial plan ever written. The book of Malachi, chapter 3, verses 8 to 12. So, speak a little bit, Robin, in terms of what you see going on here on a daily basis uh, in our environment and in our partnership. What do you see going on? And that's a broad question. So speak from the soul, and then I'll ask you a specific question.
Absolutely. More than happy to do that. I think number one, um, just the level of the support that we have here in the partnership is amazing. And that goes both for our outstanding sales partners and even those that are in the admin and the support. Um, one thing that I see with you, Mario, and even with Sandy, is just the dedication and the hard work that you both have put into this partnership, and that speaks volume to us. And when you speak without saying something, I think I see that with your action, with the work ethic that you put in, and when you say that this is where you have placed, like this is where God has placed you to be, and this is what you are called, you and Sandy. I really can see that, and I really believe that because of just the effort and the dedication that you both put in this, and it's even, I wouldn't say difficult, but when you see that, it challenges your heart and say, you know, uh, you can do better, and you can be like that as well if you just work hard. So I would say that's one of the main things I see going on for us.
Right on. We appreciate that immensely. And, one of the things you said here is that the industry term is that you have a team.
Yeah,
And really, what we really have is a partnership.
yeah,
And because we've got to do it by ourselves, but we will never do it on our own. We've got to do it by ourselves, but we will never do it on our own. And the idea in a partnership is where we leverage our strengths. We leverage each other's strengths. So I just spoke a little bit to Robin, the fact that you're able to leverage 100 years of experience, and you really don't have one day in the field with a license yet, but
mhm,
you have 100 years of experience behind you. So that is powerful.
yeah,
And at the same time, I don't have the skill sets that you have. So as an example, just a simple thing, you came in and you integrated Zapier into our business, where now the 5, 6, 7, 800 leads a month that we have generating into our Commissions Inc. platform are automatically being funneled into our Google platform. And someone might think, well, what's the big deal there? Well, the big deal there is that now when somebody calls me, I can tell whether it's someone random or is it someone, let's say, that we've actually marketed to. And it's a big difference because it's a different conversation. And so that Zapier integration, and by the way, we tried to do that Zapier integration for, I'm going to say, 9 months, and figuring out the whole loop of getting it into the Google platform from the Commissions Inc. platform. So we tried that for a long time and we were unsuccessful. So you came in and within, I'm going to say, about a week, you had it all done. And so we're just like you're leveraging our experience, we're leveraging yours. And so this is a partnership. And, when there's profits in the partnership, we share in the profit. Um, Giving starts the receiving process. I don't want to be the only one winning in this partnership or in this deal. Everyone has to win, and it's all ours, not mine. It's all ours. And really, Robin, does any of this belong to us?
no,
No, exactly. It doesn't belong to us anyways. It all comes from the uh, Father Almighty, our Creator. And so at the same time, it's important that we help him with our talents. We have a responsibility to leverage our talents on a daily basis to help humanity. So, having
yeah,
said that, speak a little bit, please, to why would let's speak to the buyer side because you have some experience in that road already. So, as an example, because you've shadowed some people on the buyer benefits side of the equation. So why would a buyer want to choose Mario, Daniel, Sconza, and partners over and above all other options or doing it themselves? Why would they do that?
absolutely. I think the number one thing in here is that being with Mary Daniel Sconza, number one, we get them the best homes for the best price, for the least amount of hassle, right, and least amount of inconvenience in them. Being with us, they are also relying on 64 years worth of experience. So, again, we say that 64 years not to impress everybody, but to impress upon a couple of things. That number one, although we don't know everything about real estate, we do know some things. And that 64 years of experience, as you said, being in this industry, we know the nooks and crannies of what goes into a deal, right? And so, you know seeing it as well on the buyer side now, because one thing is properties, right? And I see that, and I see that we can get off-market properties, distress sales, divorce sales, estate sales, power of sales, pocket listings, right? And these are all just things in our own database, right? These are things that you can't find in the internet, right? And we can source them. But that's that's only like the beginning part of things. But the other side of things is the financing part. I'm seeing it right now. Uh, how much opportunity we can give to people who wants to buy a home but think that they can't afford a home. With the mortgage lenders that are we're partnering with, these are very powerful people and that have been also in the industry for a very long time. That that can help them get the financing. And personally, I'm so blessed. I'm just learning about new things. I'm like, oh my gosh, like as a first time home buyer, you can do this and you can do that. And you know, it's actually not that hard, right, to get a home, and it all it really takes is for us to sit with them, find out their situation, and help them accordingly. And it's not a matter. I'm finding now it's not a matter of whether you should if we can get them a home. It's actually when we can get them into a home and when they would like to be in a home.
That is a very astute statement, actually, and so it's there's a big difference between a decision and a commitment. And if you have made a decision that you want to buy real estate, we can help you. We can put you in a position to make a commitment if you want to, if you want to. And and it's very astute. So as an example, one of the things that we guarantee in writing that if we do not achieve the lowest mortgage rate for our home buyer clients, we will go ahead and make their first mortgage payment. And how that works is very simple. We ask our clients to do their own due diligence, go out and try to get the best rate you can, the best terms that you can. And if you're successful in receiving a better rate than we're able to generate for you, then we will make your first mortgage payment. And this is not hoopla. This is not, empty words. This is a guarantee in writing, backed up by 64 years of a legacy. And so these are that's one benefit that the home buyers that we have the privilege of working for will experience. And so speak to a little bit, if you can, about our process and systems. What have you seen? And by the way, I was thinking about this the other day, and I don't remember the exact date that you started with Mario Daniel Sconza and Partners. Do you remember what date it was?
Yes, I think it was beginning of October. I think,
Really?
and the
So it's,
first, second, or was it earlier? I
I'm
can
not.
take a look.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
so what are speak to some of the systems and processes that you've seen, with our company, and how that serves the home buyers and home sellers, please.
yeah. So there's three main things I think that we're doing, and I'm going to speak on two. And number one is the marketing, and the other one is the communication side of things. So marketing is it's a reverse prospecting automated system, where for our buyer side, we are, how do you say this? We're looking for people who are interested in real estate and getting their hand up, and we're calling them and we're asking them questions if they are people who are would like to be moved. And so for our buyers as well, during that process, we also find out that they also have homes to sell, and from that, we're actually able to you know kind of match people who have those homes that don't want to be listed out in the MLS first or the realtor.ca, and we can connect them with the current buyers that we have that, so it's sort of like a pocket listing. And also, I think with the system that we have with um, sort of like the communications part of things is that if there's an agent that is working with our buyers, that agent is solely focused on showing that buyer homes. Why? Because we have a team and we have a system where we have the support system, the administration system. We have someone answering the phones. We have someone doing the marketing. So rather than one agent juggling everything and eventually the client ball gets dropped. Like that is completely eliminated because we do have a team support system that's helping us and helping one another. Just focus on clients.
Right on. So, and very well stated. So, as an example, we don't do open houses, but what we do is strategic open houses. Strategic open houses. So, when we have open houses, sometimes we have 100 families coming through our open house,
Yeah.
and we have to hire security at times to make sure that there's safety for everybody. So, as an example, when uh, we advertise the open house, we enter the hot listing on MLS for home being held open Sunday on Monday. So, and we hold showings until the day of the open house. We enter the listing as a pocket listing on Commissions Inc., and we notify high match scores about the open house coming via text. We send an email blast to the entire database, save and except for lifetime clients, notifying them of the upcoming open house. Now, as you can see here, this is a live look at our database, a live look. We've got 32,996. I don't know if you can see that on the top right corner right here. 32,996 buyers. And a lot of these buyers are coming into our system every single day. We have buyers coming into our system every single day. So just today, we've had probably about 15 potential buyers come into our system, and we're
Hmm.
constantly marketing for more. And because if you list your home for sale with a realtor and you expect that realtor to start marketing your home the day after the listing is taken, it's too late. It's too late. You're missing out on tremendous opportunities. So we have systems and processes for everything. We have departments. We have different departments for everything. We have a marketing department. We have an inside sales department. We have an outside sales department. We have a support department. We have an administration department. We have a leadership department, and we have a technology department. We have departments beyond that as well. So and what happens is the homeowners, the home buyers, they benefit from all these systems, and they're serviced in a very astute way because we don't run out of time for them because each partner is responsible for specific steps in the process. In today's real estate world, it's a very, very complex transaction. It's a very complex transaction. And by the way, some people will say, well, real estate agents are a commodity. They're a dime a dozen, and in 3 years we won't have realtors anymore. Well, the truth is, I don't speak in absolutes. So only God knows what tomorrow will bring. But the fact is that the greatest thing about organized real estate is the fact that it is organized. And the Toronto Real Estate Board has been in existence, as an example, for, I believe we're on our 80th year right now. And actually, the Toronto Real Estate Board, I don't know if you know this, Robin, it's the largest organized real estate board in the world.
Wow.
And the real estate transaction today is very complex. And there is I'm not going to say a need because that's a bad word, because all we really need is love, air, water, and a little bit of food from time to time. So I'm not going to say we need a real estate agent. No. However, if I was being wrongfully accused of a capital crime, I think I would want, because I've never been in that position, but I do know someone that was, and they hired themselves a great lawyer. So I think I would want someone by my side that's pretty astute, has been around the block a few times, has had experiences in courtrooms with juries, with judges, communicating, and I think that's going to help me. I think. And you know what? My mother always wanted me to be a lawyer, and maybe I would be my own lawyer because I'm kind of crazy that way. And the only thing that stops craziness is insanity. But having said that, I'm joking right there. I'm pretty sure that I would hire, a great lawyer, and also I am I'm next to 100% sure. And again, I don't speak in absolutes, but heaven forbid, if I had to have open heart surgery tomorrow, I would look for the best surgeon. I would want to be in the hands of someone who's done it a few times and who's had some successes. And a great real estate broker, a great advocate of the idea, whether it be for the buyer or for the seller, is very important in my estimation, at least from what I have seen. And Robin, what would you ask you if you were me?
Hmm. I would ask, how are you so fearless?
Okay, so remember, it's me asking you, right?
Okay.
So I'm now going to ask you that question. How are you so fearless?
I think it just goes back to persistence. And if I were to be asked how, I think it's just knowing that if I fail about something, that the next best thing that I can do is just get back up, get back up, get back up. And again, just work and put in the action again and don't get discouraged. And because I think why I also would ask the question to myself is that um, I am afraid of failures, but I have to always remember that failure is just an event. It's not a person. And you can always get back up from failures as long as you want to in your mind, and as long as you put yourself in a position to be encouraged, you can always get back up and and persist and get back at it.
Absolutely. And Robin, success is very much a series of well managed breakdowns. Success is a series of well managed breakdowns. So there's a lot of breakdowns on
Yes.
the way to success. And that success is I think it's the right word, very fleeting because so as an example, I'm pretty maniacal about order. And one of the things I invest time in on most mornings is order in my environment. So my wife is very happy because I will invest time. I clean the kitchen, I clean the family room, I clean the study. Every morning or most mornings, I will Windex the glass on my desk in the study. There will be nothing on the counter, and there will be no shoes in the hallway. All the jackets will be hung up. All the pillows in the family room will be in a specific order. So I'm pretty maniacal about order because order is the first law of the universe. And without order, there is only chaos. Without order, there's chaos. Having said that, success is a series of well managed breakdowns because guess what happens? You know why I do this on most mornings? Because on most mornings when I wake up, uh, it's not the way I left it that morning because now we've lived. We've lived in the house. We've eaten dinner. Sometimes Sandy has not had the opportunity to wash the dishes that night because maybe she's out on an appointment. Daniel and Isabella, maybe they've left some shoes in the hallway. Maybe they've left some jackets on the chair, which they're getting better at not doing that. And the pillows. Even myself, when I leave the family room, I don't necessarily clean the pillows in that moment in time, because sometimes I just want to chill out and go upstairs with Sandy and hang out with Sandy. So the point of the matter is, success is a series of well managed breakdowns. So even in that day, with that simple activity of the creation of order, at the end of the day, I expect breakdown. I expect that the next day there's going to be something to put into order. And without that, life would be pretty boring when I really think about it.
I agree.
So, pardon me,
I agree.
right on. So, yeah, success is very much a series of well managed breakdowns. So, yeah, I think that this was some great time here together today. Are there any, pardon me, last thoughts that you'd like to share with the world?
I'd say, I'm just very thankful. Number one, I'm just thankful to the Lord and what He had put me in. And I'm thankful for just everyone that's even just watched this video and taken the time to be with us. And again, like without the people that we're serving, we don't know what we're gonna do. So for all the people that are watching, thank you very much. From the bottom of our hearts, we're very blessed that you're with us in this journey. Again, this is part of the partnership is actually the partnership that we built outside of the partnership. And all the people that are watching, thank you so much. We appreciate your time. We appreciate you. And we hope and pray that we've encouraged you in some way or some form, in one way or another. And I know there's very good about this evening.
We actually lost the feed on your last 3 or 4 words. What were your last 3 or 4 words there?
Yeah, thank you, and just thank you for everybody just for tuning in. And without you, we will not be around. So thank you. We are encouraged by you, and I hope we have encouraged you too.
Right on, right on. Well, that's beautifully stated. And giving starts the receiving process. Giving starts the receiving process. Go give big. Peace and blessings, and thank you very much.
Thank you.